Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I am coming back with a revised version of Vegeta. The more that I've actually seen Topku now be played, the more I actually feel that this deck can definitely stand up against it. I'm not sure how well it does into a lot of other matchups in particular, but definitely Topku in red, I think this leader does very, very strongly. The build that I've put together is more around just locking our opponent out the game. Now I know that one of the comments from the previous video, I believe that someone was saying that you're just going to end up, your opponent will have 6, 7, 8 battle cards and you're just going to end up losing the game. But the point is though, is that if you're at that stage of the game and you're not able to remove your opponent's board, if you're not able to control the board and you're not just attacking their face on repeat, you're I just think that you're not playing the deck right. I think that you have to just, while we attack our opponent's face, we force them to, or we at least force lockdown of their battle cards, so they don't have them on the clapback, which is the important part. Yes, once it gets to the later stages of the game, you know, when you're at 6, 7, 8 energy, that might become a bit unfeasible to at least keep up that amount of lockdown. But ultimately, I don't think you actually need it to go that far. I think that you should be able to win well before you get to that stage, and if you don't, then I think that you've either bricked or you've just played the deck wrong. So we're going to go through the list just now, and we'll sort of try and discuss certain cards as we come through them as well, just sort of like to give you all an idea as to either the combinations in the deck or why this card is here and why it's at the ratio it's in. There are obviously certain cards that are missing as well from yellow, but I just genuinely think that this is the to keep your deck at 50, this is the best I think that we can get from Vegeta. So we run 4 of the Self-Awakened Bulmas, not only for the Self-Awakened, but if we ever do decide we want to play that Vegeta battle card, we can play the Bulma off of it for free. We can use it to rest our opponent's battle cards, and we can also draw off of it. It's a very, very good card, right? There's no reason not to run this. We also run 4 of the rest freezers. So this is the on play, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards and switch it to rest. One of the biggest things that I've noticed when I've been watching games that I have been seeing, especially for yellow, is when our opponent establishes the Android 17, it's very, very difficult for us to deal damage to our opponent without losing hand size, and we can't have that. So there is a card which is at the end here. It's the extra card, the Golden Death Beam or whatever it's called, the one from the starter deck. So that helps us actually just remove that battle card. So the this freezer here allows us to put it in rest mode, and then for the extra energy, we just kill it right off the bat with the Golden Death Beam. Hopefully, we've already got other ways and we have other cards on board by this point. It's kind of the idea is that we don't want them to just clear our board every turn. I know it's not going to be as simple as that, and if they hit the nuts, then there's pretty much nothing we can do about it. I don't think there's any build in the world that'll control that. But for now, this is definitely still a 4-off for me. Plus, it's a 10k combo, which is always good. Run 4 of the Self-Awakened Freezers. Once again, it rests battle cards, and it's a Self-Awakener. There's no reason not to run this card, at least for the early turns as well. So, for me, it's an absolute must at 4. I run 4 Nays still, mainly because it's a 10k combo. It is the main reason, but honestly, this leader thrives because we run quite a large extra card package, right? And not only that, we run quite a few 0ks, which we'll get to in a minute. We need to be able to have the free will of tapping out on our turns to then get the untapped 2 at the end. So having more Self-Awakeners is definitely a good thing, and I think Nays being a 10k, for me, is still a 4-of in the deck. Obviously, once we hit 4 life, the likelihood of us playing this card is very limited, so we don't have to worry about the fact that it forces us to take our own life. For me, the 10k is more valuable because 25k seems to be the most important number for red at this stage. I also run 2 of these Android 18s. This one for me is interesting. I still don't know whether or not I love this card. The more lists I look at for Vegeta, the more I see that she's included. She's good as a 10k, and she is also good for on-play and attacking. We can rest 2 of our opponent's battle cards, which is always nice. But I don't know, it's just for me, paying 3 energy for her seems very steep. Yes, we get to rest 2 battle cards, but if I'm looking at Topku as the example here, the likelihood is that the only card that Topku's not going to tap out, or the only battle card that they're not going to tap down will be the Android 17. So I don't see why we would need this. Realistically, if I can do this for 1 energy, or even this for 2 energy, I don't know. For me, it's a bit iffy. I don't know how I feel about it. That's just the only good thing is that it's on play, right? So rather with this one being attacking, obviously the Vegeta's, the Frieza's also on play, but at least we have that as the on-play if we need it. It's just, I think that as a 20k attacker for 3 energy, it's not all that strong. In resting our opponent's cards, we have so many ways to do that already, but I do see that she is being ran in a lot of lists, so there's maybe something I'm just missing here. The benefit, again, like I say, she is a 10k combo, and once again, 25k being the most important number, I think, this set. You know, everybody likes to swing at that awkward spot of, you know, if you've got a 20k leader, they want to attack for 30k. If you've got a 25k leader, they want to attack for 35. So, you know, you can, that uncomfortable spot, her being a 10k is useful, but I think because 25ks just seem to be the way. I mean, when you look at top coup, it's just 25k, 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 20. It's just constant pressure with 25k. So I think the more 10ks we have in this deck, the better. Which for me is the only winnable part of her. Her effect's decent, don't get me wrong, but it's just not all that busted. I'm not a huge fan of that effect. And then we're on 4 Vegetas. I upped this. I think I had it at 3 in my previous list, but we had to up this to 4. He's too good. You know, all of our rest mode battle cards can be KO'd by our opponent's skills. That doesn't matter into red, but the on-play, it is a self-awakener as well. And then we could play a battle card with a cost of 1 or less from our hand. So again, we have 2 targets here between the Bulma and the Frieza. So we have options for sure. And yeah, that's why he's there. And then we run 4 of the most disgusting card in yellow currently. This is our key to victory, right? Goku is the only way we will likely win the top coup matchup, because we cannot remove their board. It's as simple as that. We just do not have the tools necessary. We can't, if we attack into them, the likelihood is they're just going to keep out comboing, and then on the clapback, instead of you facing maybe 2 or 3 battle cards, you're now facing 4 or 5, right? So there's a big problem there, and I think that using Goku to just lock your opponent out the match is the way to play this deck. There are obviously other cards that lock as well, but Goku being the main one for me. And then we also run 4 coolers. Cooler for me now, again, it sort of got me thinking. Again, I think I had a comment on the video that was saying that I think that Cooler with Time Rewound is just so stupid good, and I agree. I 100% agree. We need this card. We need this card, and we need it to be usable twice per turn, realistically. So if we can just keep resting our opponent's cards during their turn, that is huge for us. That's such a big W. And then, you know, what we rest down, we then lock down with Goku the following turn, right? That's the idea. I just think that Cooler's too good with Time Rewound. So that's why we have him at 4. And then we only run 2 of the double strikers. The main reason being is deck space. The amount of 0Ks we were running in this deck was getting quite alarming. We had 7 just between these 2, plus obviously there is a secret rare to come as well. For me, it was very worrying, so I just felt that, you know what, the odds of me tapping 5 to play this card if my opponent isn't at 2 life is next to nil, right? If I have a Goku, I'm always tapping 4 for that over this. It's just better. There's no reason why I would play this ahead of the Goku, or sometimes even Cooler, depending on how the situation is. You know, if we already have a Cooler on board, for me establishing a second one's more valuable than establishing one of these. So it is at 2. There is the possibility to put it back at 3, but I would need to adjust ratios somewhere. And then we have Golden Frieza. This card is literally a charge target if you're playing Top Coup. If you're against Top Coup, charge this card. It is awful into Top Coup. Yes, we get to, you know, kill one of the rest of battle cards, but what to do? We kill 1, they play 5 the next turn. What's the difference, right? It literally makes 0 difference. This card is not good into Top Coup. It's good for most other matchups. It's very good into yellow. It's also very good into the other red decks. And blue as well, for that matter. So for sure, we definitely play this card. We just, into Top Coup, you have to charge it. It just doesn't give you the value you want. 5 or more, it doesn't happen. The highest attack, or at least the highest cost card that they will play will either be Kefla or Ribrianne, both of which are 4 costs, and then everything they play is either a 3 or a 2. So Frieza's not the way to play that match. You just have to charge him. Yes, his stats at 40k are it's very appealing. You know, we want to slap our opponent with a 40k. But I'm sorry, I'm not tapping 6 for this card in the Top Coup match. It's just not good enough. 4 supers. We run Chilai. You can run whichever one you want. It doesn't matter. We don't have any searchers that search out the super combo, so there's no reason to. And then I only run 2 Blue Power Awakening. It's very good for just choosing one of our opponent's battle cards. It costs 6 or more and KO it. That's good against green. anything other than green, it just doesn't hold sway. Its active battle to choose a leader or a battle card and give plus 25k is also very nice, but I just don't know how necessary it is. I think that we have so many, you'll see here the next two, are also very good defensive cards. So Blue Power Awakening for me it's good, don't get me wrong, I don't think we'd run that at 4. I don't want to tap out on my, and I'm air quoting combo power here, but if I have multiple extras in hand, I would much rather tap one at a time rather than tap two, because then the only combo power in my hand are battle cards. So that's it. But it's definitely good, and it's also a good game finisher. You know, if we can poke our opponent down to 1 life, you know, tapping 2 for plus 25k is really strong. So yeah, we'll take it. We run 4 time rewound. We upped this to 4, mainly because of cooler. To be honest, when that person whoever it was, again I apologise if I don't know your name, but whoever it was that commented mentioning the cooler and time rewound combo, you were definitely right. I think it's genuinely the best way to play the deck defensively. Just blocking off of cooler and restanding it with time rewound is so strong. It means that we get multiple blocks out of this and we get multiple rests. It's very good, right? Plus it's a plus 20k combo swing, which is massive. Can't argue with it. And then we run 4 Death Balls. Again, I think Death Ball is absolutely snapped in this leader. With Kefla is forced. I believe Kefla is forced to play a 3 or less. I think I'm right with saying that. Yes, she is. She's forced to play a 3 or less, meaning that when Kefla, on play, she draws 1, then she plays a 3 drop. Yes, the likelihood is your opponent is going to attack with the 3 cost first. If they're smart, they have to. But we're forcing that decision out of them. And we don't have to play this. Like, we don't have to combo off right away if it's not the right time. And this is another way for us that if our opponent plays the Android 17 and decides not to attack with it, well, guess what? Now we have a way to force that into rest mode. And with this card, Golden Death Beam, we only run it at 2. There is an argument for a third there, but again, I think our numbers are quite high already for extra cards. We run 12 plus 4 8 0Ks, so we have 20 cards in hand, which they're not dead, at least as long as we have energy, but it's still, you kind of get why it's a bit uncomfortable. But yeah, so Death Ball forces that Android 17 into rest mode, and then we just Golden Death Beam it. There you go, it's dead. Kill a battle card, 3 or less, and rest. That's it, it's now gone. This leader will absolutely struggle into 25k leaders without, I'll say 25k leaders, it will struggle into top Q as a 25k leader without Golden Death Beam, for sure. And without Death Ball. So for me, these two are absolute necessities. They work very well together. And again, Death Beam works with the Frieza, works with the Android 18. There's no reason, it even works with Cooler for that matter. There's no reason not to run it. And again, it's there for us just to try and control our opponent's board a bit. I get we are having to spend an energy on our turn. If we're on turn 4, for example, I would probably much rather play Goku and just lock down our opponent's board and just try and stall out for a turn or two and then enable this Golden Death Beam at a later stage of the game, and then we can keep it going from there. So there definitely is argument for Golden Death Beam to maybe be at 3, but I think 2's fine. I think because we've cut Blue Power Awakening to 2, and then with 4 time rebounds and 4 Death Balls, I think 2 is just it's a number I'm comfortable with, and that's pretty much all I can say. But yeah, so this is the revised list I'm running with. Once again, I've not actually had time to test it. This will probably be one of, if not the first deck that I test on Thursday once the digital client gets access to the next set. So it definitely will be what I'm looking to try out, just to see how it plays into Top Q, because I'm very interested in the deck. I think that Vegeta for me, I think it is, honestly, if I was to redo my tier list now after having some of the information I have, I probably would rate Vegeta better than Frieza currently. It does everything that Frieza wants to do, more or less, besides defending our battle cards. And in all honesty, I don't know what's better. I don't know if it's better to have our opponent attacking face, or if it's better for them to attack our battle cards. Because we might want to sacrifice one of these every now and again, just to save cards in hand. And Top Q is notorious for just going face. When you look at Frieza, they're forced to go into your face, because they don't have battle cards in rest mode for you to attack into. So for me, Vegeta actually having the ability to have, like, let's say for example, this Goku in rest mode, well, we can defend the hell out of it. And we could even, you know, if our opponent attacks into Goku, even if it's 25 into 25 or if it's 35 into 25, it doesn't matter. We time rewound, we get out the attack, we restand them, and now our opponent has wasted an attack on a battle card. And it's not necessarily to say that I would have used a time rewound on my life. You know, it just depends. Again, you probably would, but it really just depends on the situation of the game and, you know, how many of them we had in hand, etc. So, for sure, I think that Vegeta's actually, the fact that it has battle cards and rest mode uniquely positions it in that sense. Cooler for me is an interesting one because we either choose not to attack with it and we get 2 blocks out of it, or we choose to attack once and then we block with it. Again, because I need to playtest with the deck, I don't know whether or not just attacking is better and only using the block once is better. I'm not sure. I would imagine, I'd imagined swinging for the 30k is just definitely more advantageous, I think. At worst, we can draw some cards out of hand. If not, we can deal a damage to our opponent, which is kind of what we're looking to do. Like I say, we just poke them down, and if they're in double strike range, great, we'll maybe play the Frieza. But if they're not, you know, we just poke them one by one, little by little. You know, we have quite high attackers here, 25, 30, 35. Again, Tokku being the exception, but 40k here, so, you know, we have quite a lot of attackers that we can use for that. And like I said, I think that the deck is very decent into Tokku. I just don't know how well it can maintain I don't know if Tokku's just going to out-tempo us by like turn 5. And if they do, then we can't use this deck, right? That's the way I'm going to look at this from a competitive landscape. You can use it for locals, you can use it for fun, but on a competitive landscape, if you are getting consistently just overpowered by Tokku, you can't play the deck, right? That's just the way I see it. But guys, I do enjoy Vegeta. I think it's a really interesting deck type, and it's one I'm very excited to try in set 2. So, again, if anybody's actually got some Vegeta knowledge out there for the Tokku match, 100% hit me up in the comments. I'd love to know how you deal with the matchup. If it's, that being said, if it's not in this list anyway, or even if it is in the list, even if you can just confirm if Cooler into Time Rewound is the best way, or Death Ball and Death Beam, etc. It would just be interesting to hear everybody's takes on it. I know that there is a 3-drop Gohan which also locks down our opponent's board, but it is a 5k combo, which is kind of why I cut that in favour of the Android 18. Again, when I look at the list here, so we've got 4, 8, 10, we have 14 10k combos, not including our supers. So that to me is a number I'm quite comfortable with. I think if we were running 12, I feel like we would be running a bit short. As I say, we run a lot of 5ks as it is, like 4, 8, 12, and then, yeah, again, at that point, I suppose it's just 12 because the rest are 0ks. But again, that's how I feel about the list. I think it'll be interesting. I do think that the deck is very strong. I think it deals with the meta perfectly. I think Tokku's just the exception. I think that we have to know for sure whether or not this deck is capable of beating Tokku. If it is, I think that Vegeta's an insane leader for this set. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens when we get there. But guys, thank you very much for all the comments on the videos recently. I really appreciated everybody's support on the Tokku deck. At time of recording, the Vegeta deck will be up yesterday, but I think at the time of recording it's actually going to be up in a few minutes, now that I see it. So hopefully everybody enjoyed the new take on Vegeta as well, or Blue Vegeta, Starter Vegeta, whatever people want to call it. And guys, thank you very much again, and if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.